Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, as well as the lives lost upstate in Buffalo, New York, and please remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. At this time, I would like to invite the Scouts to come up and lead us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Today to honor all United States service members who have given their lives to protect the freedoms we all enjoy and express our profound gratitude to their families who have sacrificed loved ones in order to defend and protect our liberties as part of this Memorial Day celebration. I would also like to thank the Scouts, the band members, the PTA, and all of the staff and faculty who are joining us today. At this time, I would like to introduce some special guests from the community who have joined us this morning. Mayor Mary Marvin, Mary Behrens, Village Trustee, Helen Knapp, Village Trustee, Chief of Police, Christopher Satriali, and all other Bronxville police officers in attendance today who dutifully serve and protect our school. The Honorable James Nolan, Westchester County Legislator of District 15, and Jim Palmer, Village Administrator. And of course, our celebrated veterans who gave of themselves so we can enjoy our freedoms. I would ask that they please stand to be acknowledged by this grateful community. Peter Serencione, Corporal, United States Marine Corps. Bob Foster, VFW 2285, Staff Sergeant, Air Force in Vietnam. Anthony Nuno, Specialist, United States Army in Germany-Vietnam War. Vito Pinto, Lieutenant, United States Navy in Vietnam. Tom Vinton, United States Marine Corps, Vietnam era 2nd Marine Division. Alex Bruno, Private First Class, United States Army, Korea. It is our pleasure to have you with us and to honor your service. At this time, I would also like to acknowledge some of the Bronxville staff members who have served in the United States military or are currently serving in active reserves. High school math teacher Aaron Ginsberg, United States Marine Corps, 2004 through 2010. Santiago Marin, a Marine who served overseas in Japan, Vietnam, and Hawaii. Maintenance mechanic Michael Perugine, Vietnam War veteran who served in the United States Navy. I would also like to take a moment to honor Bronxville High School graduates who are currently serving or have served our country. Please hold your applause until the end. Gabe Adorno, Tyler Amity, Matthew Beto, Robert Bisconti, David Branson, Chris Brogan, Tim Brogan, Paul Capon, Livy Coe, Nora Gerson, Ryan Grossen, Eric Gustafson, Michael Hubert, Peter Jaglam, William Mago, Colin Morrison, Melisses Moy, Bobby O'Connor, Cody Rodman, Matthew Regani, Matthew Salisbury, Patrick Sika, Mac Von Marin, Willem Tomes, Stephen Wang, Wyatt Yankus, Christian Yu, and Edward Yu. Thank you for your service. For nearly 150 years, Memorial Day, originally known as Decoration Day, has been a day designated to remember those who have died defending our country and protecting our freedoms. It was first widely observed on May 30th, 1868 at Arlington National Cemetery to commemorate the lives of Civil War soldiers by proclamation of General John A. Logan of the Grand Army of the Republic. Prior to the first widely observed Decoration Day, similar local remembrances were held in places such as Charleston, South Carolina, which were organized by freed slaves to pay tribute to Union troops following the end of the Civil War. During the first ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery in 1868, Ohio Congressman James Garfield, who later became the 20th President of the United States, was quoted as saying, "We do not know one promise these men made, one pledge they gave, one word they spoke, but we do know they summed up and perfected by one supreme act the highest virtues of men and citizens. For the love of country, they accepted death, and thus resolved all doubts and made immortal their patriotism and their virtue." In addition to the holiday barbecues and the celebration of the unofficial start of summer, this Memorial Day let us take a moment to reflect on the words used by President Garfield. Words like virtue, patriotism, phrases like love of country, and one supreme act made by men and women that guarantees our freedoms. Memorial Day is also a time to honor the families who have sacrificed family members in service to our country. In President Obama's 2013 Memorial Day address, he describes a letter he received from a mother, Candy Everett of Charlotte, North Carolina, whose two sons were serving as Marines in Afghanistan and Iraq. In her letter, she compelled President Obama to not forget her two sons and others who choose to serve their country. Obama shared, "A mother's plea, please don't forget. On this Memorial Day and every day, let us be true and meet that promise. Let it be our task, every single one of us, to honor the strength and resolve and the love of these brave Americans, what they felt for each other and our country. Let us never forget to always remember and to be worthy of the sacrifice they make in our name." Lastly, as we take time to reflect on those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom, let us consider what we can routinely do to demonstrate our patriotism and protect the freedoms of others in our community. As Ronald Reagan said at the Memorial Day celebration at Arlington National Cemetery in 1982, "The United States and the freedom for which it stands, the freedom for which they died, must endure and prosper. Their lives remind us that freedom is not bought cheaply. It has a cost. It imposes a burden. And just as they whom we commemorate were willing to sacrifice, so too must we, in less final, less heroic ways, be willing to give of ourselves." Thank you, and thank you, veterans. It is now my pleasure to introduce Peter Coccolette, Senior and President of the Student Faculty Legislature.
Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to speak before you today. I would like to thank the faculty, administration, the PTA, students, and everyone who made this ceremony possible. I would also like to offer a special welcome to members of the broader Bronxville community, especially our first responders. And most importantly, on behalf of the Bronxville community, I would like to extend the utmost gratitude and respect to the armed service members and veterans with us today, both in person and in spirit. Since the senior class of 2022 walked out in front of the flagpole as kindergartners 13 years ago for our first Memorial Day service, the world has exhibited exceptional change. Despite the drastic changes to both our world and our country, the yearly Memorial Day service has stayed constant as a reminder of the brave men and women who died while defending and serving our nation. In this span of 13 years, approximately 14,000 American men and women have made the ultimate sacrifice as active duty service members. Such significant loss is a reminder that as I speak, and as time passes until next year's Memorial Day ceremony, members of the military continue to risk and indeed sacrifice their lives to ensure our freedoms. Many of us personally know veterans or active service members, be them relatives, friends, or community members that bravely fought or are currently fighting for our country. I have the privilege of having two grandfathers who both served in the armed forces. Preparing for my speech, I spoke to my grandfather, Mark Buckman, regarding his time in the Navy. He was fortunate to serve in the Navy between the Korean War and the war in Vietnam. He spoke nostalgically of what it was like to return from 6 months or longer trips at sea. He described the return to the port in San Diego as triumphant and emotional, even remembering 60 years later the tune When Johnny Comes Marching Home, playing as sailors reunited with their families. Hearing his pride and passion in his time as a member of the Navy, as well as his gratitude for my interest in his military service, served as a strong reminder of how simple yet vital it is for members of the younger generation to extend their appreciation and attention to veterans and active service members, knowing how many of these brave men and women gave their lives in service and protection to our country. Past generations of veterans went abroad, often for months or years at a time, with no cell phones, no social media, and certainly no FaceTime. The most consistent communication with their families was through the mail, which was not always available. Although advancements in technology have made communication with family members back home more accessible, newer generations of military members continue to face the challenges that don't end with service. From post-traumatic stress disorder to general difficulty reacclimating back to life in the States, military service proves to be lifelong service. In a time where our nation can be so divided on a multitude of seemingly partisan issues, it is critical to remember that this life of service comes from military members from every corner, every community, and every background that the United States has to offer. The Veteran Administration's mission is defined by Abraham Lincoln's promise, to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan. Despite so many American veterans and their families facing challenges that military service may burden, support for strengthening the Veteran Administration's underfunded healthcare and support infrastructure lacks appropriate backing from either side of the political aisle. When considering a group as broad as those that have served our nation and their families, it is vital for us to rise above the partisan divide that can so often impede progress for the groups of people that need help the most. So we must ask, what are we doing as a community, as a country, to uphold Lincoln's promise to the men and women in our military? While we might not fix the Veteran Administration's problems this weekend, on this Memorial Day, as a community and as individuals, we should strive to fulfill Lincoln's promise by showing appreciation towards those that have sacrificed and continue to sacrifice for us. Be it a phone call, a simple conversation, or a note to a service member or their family, let us make an effort to reach out. In a time when it is easy to be divided, let us use this Memorial Day to make a concerted effort to bring greater unity. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today.
At this time, I'd like to ask our high school principal, Ms. Ann Meyer, to come up and present some additional awards.
Bronxville tradition on Memorial Day is to honor the memory of two former Bronxville High School graduates and community members by recognizing two members of our current sophomore class. Both of the people we remember played an important role in sustaining our country's freedom through times of trial by serving in the military. At this time, I would like to invite last year's recipients, Remy Mellinghoff and Andrew Doyle, now members of the junior class, to present awards to the sophomore class awardees.
Our first award honors Barry Penfield, who graduated from Bronxville High School with a class of 1940. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, she tried to enlist in the Army, but was rejected for medical reasons. She moved on to join the Dutch Women's War Corps and worked in Holland helping soldiers, even during the Battle of the Bulge. To honor her memory, we give the Women's Service Award to a 10th grade girl who exemplifies the spirit of service and commitment of Barry Penfield. I'm so proud to announce that this year's recipient, as voted on by her classmates, is Franny Kraus.
Our second award honors Thomas Hodgson, who graduated from Bronxville High School in 1946 and attended Duke University. In 1951, he joined the Marine Corps and served our country in Korea until his death in action on March 24, 1952. Tom was an exceptional person. He was unselfish and set an outstanding example to all those who knew him. With his natural ability, he combined unusual industry and persistence, always striving to achieve his best, both in academics and extracurricular activities. To honor his memory annually, we give the Thomas Hodgson Award to a 10th grade boy who best exemplifies Mr. Hodgson's qualities. This year's recipient, as voted on by his classmates, is Alejandro Diaz.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Vito Pinto to present the Eastchester Veterans Association Award.
Thank you for permission to do this, and my principal. Before I give the award, I'd like to just announce a public service announcement that because of the 100th anniversary of the Broxville Parade, Bronxville has given us permission to hold our annual ceremony in their auditorium on Sunday night, May 29th. We will start promptly at 7. Doors will open at 6:15. This year, we're giving it in honor of the 80th anniversary of the Doolittle Parade. We hope to see some of you there. Thank you. I'm honored to be given permission to present our Lieutenant Colonel Sam Direnzo, VFW Post, 2285 Scholarship Award. As I said, this year in memory of the 80th anniversary of the Doolittle Parade. Each year, our post awards 3 $1,000 scholarships to each of our 3 high schools in our community. The recipients are selected by their scholarship committees. It gives me great pleasure, on behalf of Commander Bob Foster, our officers and members, to award this year's scholarship to Chloe Lee, who will be attending Boston College in the fall. Congratulations to you, Chloe, and to your parents who are with us this morning, I believe, and good luck again at Boston College and in your future. Please, parents, make sure she gives you the money for college. Where are the bless you. God bless you.
At this time, I would like to ask our scouts to conduct the placement of the wreaths. To introduce Edward Neild, Bronxville Middle School student, who will provide the closing remarks.
Good morning. My name is Troy Neild. In our school, we learn a lot of things about life. We refer to the Broxville Promise when we talk about what is important about our school. The promise is a way of describing what we learn as we become informed citizens, capable of critical thinking and positively benefiting our community and the world. Many of the greatest lessons we learn in our school speak to the importance of remembering the sacrifices that have been made by others for future generations, including us. For example, in 8th grade English class, we read the book Night by Eloise Wiesel. It is the story of how the author survived in a concentration camp. Wiesel taught us that we must not lose our humanity in the face of adversity. He also showed us that people around the world must work together to solve global problems. Night teaches us that it is our duty and responsibility to learn from the past in order to develop a better future. It is the sacrifice made by the men and women of our military that is the very reason why any of us are able to stand here today. We are free people who can respond to new challenges and preserve and improve our society as future civic leaders. As Broxville students, we're developing empathy by learning about the experiences of others. This teaches us how to live well and live properly. We have learned about the deep sacrifices made by colonists in the Revolutionary period. These were people who saw themselves as different and geographically disconnected from each other, who became a group of united colonies and ultimately a single country. This would not have happened without militias and a standing army. In 8th grade, we focused on how our military was essential for the further development of America and the protection of our freedoms, a continuing part of our nation's story. Even how our countries dealt with the pandemic is related to our military. Despite all the controversy surrounding COVID, there's one constant and one truth that is certain. Our military supported us every day and provided order and help for all Americans. Our National Guard and other military branches have worked tirelessly, helping communities across the country, including in our own area at the County Center vaccination site, where they helped hundreds of thousands of our neighbors. We are grateful for their service. Americans have always responded to uncertainty and challenges with creativity and passion. Today, I ask you to consider that it is the sacrifice of our military members in helping our country respond to the unknown that should define our collective pride in being Americans. So today, as we honor our fallen heroes at this Memorial Day ceremony, remember that each of us can create real change by using the freedoms that our forefathers fought for in order to improve our nation. It is true that our efforts to help others in a changing world will vary. Our efforts may not be as illustrious as those put forth by the members of our military seated before you today. But we have a responsibility to try our best in order to repay even a fraction of the debt to those who gave their lives as veterans. In our school, we must look to our past and reflect that our actions moving forward count. So we must make choices that would make those who came before us proud of those actions. As we have learned in our Bronxville education, active citizenship must be exercised at every age and is essential to a democracy such as our own. Our amazing education in Bronxville has given us the tools to continue this work so that future generations of students can enjoy the freedoms we have today. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you to all the men and women of the military for their past and continued service for all of us in the United States of America.
As we conclude our ceremony, I would like to thank all of our invited guests for joining us today, especially the exceptional servicemen who are here representing both men and women who serve in our armed forces with honor. The Bronxville Band will now provide the processional.
And now we will sing America the Beautiful.
That concludes today's program. Thank you very much for joining us.